You are listening to Lesson 1, Chapter 2 of Form 4 African History. Cameroon General Education. Narrated by Wacheseh Academy. Growth of nationalism in Nigeria. Factors that favored its growth of nationalism in Nigeria. 1. Internal factors. The sound liberal higher education provided by the Yaba College, in Lagos, Ibadan University College, and the mission colleges increased awareness against colonialism. The presence of many Western-educated elites hostile to colonialism such as Azakayo, Awolowo, Akintala, etc., who intoxicated the people against colonialism. The rapid advancement of Nigerian society, especially the western and eastern regions, which increased their awareness, consciousness, and unity against colonialism. The formation of anti-colonial organization, or forum, which mobilized the people against colonial rule, such as the NCNC led by Azakayo, AG led by Awolowo, the NPC led by Amadu. The influence of newspapers such as the West African Pilot of Azakayo exposed the evils of colonialism. The improvement of roads, railways, telephone, and postal services accelerated the spread of anti-colonial ideas. The trade boom enjoyed by farmers of cash crops during the war helped to fuel the flames of nationalism. The presence of ex-servicemen who exposed the weaknesses of the British and provided courage against colonialism. Rural exodus, which created congestion and deplorable living standards in towns while the British settlers lived in luxurious quarters, increased support for the independence struggle. The British colonial policy of indirect rule, which excluded the elite from colonial administration, made them hostile to colonialism. The scarcity of imported European products and rapid rise in their prices without an increase in the wages of Nigerian workers encouraged the formation of the trade union, which united workers against British colonialism. Nigerians were happy with the British control and domination of the Executive Council by 1954. 2. External. The war had exhausted the British economically. The priority of the British resources was for reconstruction rather than fighting against nationalism. The rise of a Labour Party in Britain, sympathetic to decolonization, encouraged the independence struggle. The help Nigerians gave the British in the war influenced them to demand independence as compensation. The myth of British superiority was destroyed by the performance of the British soldiers in the battle in front of Nigerians. The Atlantic Charter of 1941 gave people the right to live under a freely chosen government. The UNO was against colonialism that gave encouragement to the Nigerians in the anti-colonial struggle. The two superpower also condemned colonialism, and they gave moral and material support. The Pan-African Congress, which took place in Manchester in 1945, condemned colonialism. The independence of Asian countries such as India and Pakistan from British rule also encouraged them to also demand independence from the British. The independence of other African states like Liberia, Ethiopia, Egypt, etc. motivated the struggle for independence. The activities of the National Congress of British West Africa and West African Students' Union, which condemned colonialism and pressed for constitutional reforms, encouraged them. Factors which hindered the growth of nationalism in Nigeria. Strong regionalism and tribalism. The Hausa, Fulani dominated the north, Igbos in the east, and Yorubas in the west hindered a strong united anti-colonial force. The fear and suspicion between regions, especially the northern and western regions, hindered strong anti-colonial force. The disparity in the development of regions. The eastern and western regions were more economically and educationally advanced than the northern region. Lack of a strong nationalist party to champion nationalism. Nigeria had but regional parties. The Christian-Muslim rivalry was a problem. The low level of awareness about colonialism, especially in rural areas and most areas of the north, hindered the growth of nationalism. The minority insisted on their own state before independence and helped to delay independence. The Yoruba and the AG opposed the state of Lagos as a federal territory. The British policy of divide and rule encouraged regionalism and slowed down the pace of independence. The struggle for political leadership after independence encouraged conflicts between the three regions. The regional imbalance between the more populated north and the eastern and western regions created problems of seat allocation in the federal legislature as well as ministerial and budgetary allocations. The fear and suspicion debates etc. hindered nationalism.